Hi everyone, it is time for a new video. I hope this angle is okay. I am here to bring you another reading vlog, and today it's gonna be a reading vlog for the Bookoplathon, which is a readathon hosted by Becca from Becca and the Books, and it is basically based on her TBR game that she does every month. It looks like this. It's basically like a board with prompts inspired by Monopoly, and so you play it and you get prompts, and then you pick a book based on the prompt, and there's basically two ways that you can participate in this readathon. It's happening all of September, and one option is that you basically just do maybe like 5 dice rolls and get 5 prompts if you want to read 5 books or whatever, and you just do that and then you read all of them and that's it. Or you can do like a dice roll and then get the prompt, read the book, finish it, and then do it again and again and again. I decided to slightly bend the rules, and I'm basically going to be doing something in between. I'm a mood reader, and I really don't like having just one book to read at a time. It does not work for me. It is not how I read at all. And so you're gonna see me along the way. I basically already filmed this vlog, so you're gonna see me try to just do one prompt at a time, and it's just not gonna work out. So we're gonna do a bunch of prompts, and I was originally wanting to finish all the books that I started talking to you about in this vlog and then start part 2 of Bookoplathon, but I am going to divide it into multiple vlogs, so I'm not going to finish all the books that I talk about in here, but we have some wonderful books coming and that I'm going to be finishing and all of that. And I had so much fun with this that there are going to be 2 more Bookoplathon vlogs after this, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Get a snack, get comfy, and let's go read together and talk about books. I'm still sorry about this kind of weird lighting. I hope it doesn't look that bad, but it definitely could be better, so hopefully it will have been better in the intro and after this. I basically just decided that I want to do this, and I am very excited. So the past few weeks, the past month, I don't want to say I've been struggling with reading. I think one of the main reasons why I haven't been reading a lot is because I was trying to actually focus on other things in my life. Ended up being a really wonderful month in many different ways, but I want to read a lot of books this month, and I just found out that this readathon is happening and it just sounds so fun. So I don't know how many books we're going to read in here, but I hope it's going to be a lot. And so I just did the first, what's it called? Dice roll? No idea if that's the correct term, and I kind of messed up filming it. We're just gonna roll with it, and next time I'm gonna make sure to film it better. So the prompt that I got is TBR Vet. And so what this means is a book that you've had on your TBR for a really long time. I am going to push myself to get out of my fucking comfort zone, and we're gonna read Beach Read by Emily Henry. Yes, so I'm not sure when this is going to come out, but I'm hoping that it's not going to be too late in September, and that people are still interested in summery books. So I know a lot of people have been starting to read fall books, but now that I'm back home, the weather here, I'm hoping, is still going to be quite warm and sunny, and so yes, but even if it's not, I need to read this book. So I've had this on my TBR since I think it was honestly since before it came out. So you've probably heard of this book. I don't even know the year that this came out in. I've been telling myself and all of you that I would read it soon, and I just have not gotten to it. Yeah, so this is gonna be the first book, and so I probably will have talked about this in the intro, but I do want to try to take it one prompt at a time and finish the book. But at the same time, I want to read a lot this month, and so sometimes it helps me, in general, it helps me to have more than one book, like, that I'm reading. But I do think I'm going to be reading other shit for other videos, so that would make it easier, if that makes sense. Let's dive in. It's like 9 p.m. and I want to read. I have not been reading, so let's get into it. And I don't know if I'm going to annotate it because I haven't had the energy to do so with a lot of books that I wanted to annotate, but we'll see. I'm gonna start it and see how I feel, and I'm gonna update you when I make some progress, hopefully either tonight or tomorrow. Hi everyone, so I need to make this update very quick because my camera is probably gonna die soon. I have started Beach Read and I got to page 100 exactly, and I don't have that much to say just yet, and I think I want to talk about it more in depth later, but at the same time I do think it's, you know, interesting to see thoughts along the way because I do think there will be quite a bit of development for me. So I'm not really in love with the book yet, and there have been some lines and some moments that I underlined, so I'm kind of experimenting with the annotating in here, and I'm also not tabbing it, so that might be stupid, but at the same time there have been multiple books that I've been wanting to annotate lately. I really want to get more into it, and I feel like it just makes the reading experience so much more special for me, and I just really love it a lot. But at the same time, I have just not had the energy, and I think that the tabbing, it might sound super stupid, but I feel like the tabbing is kind of the exhausting part, even though, like, I know it takes 1 second, okay? Like, I know it's not that big of a deal, but I want to try it without it to see if, like, it's completely fine without it, and if I just, like, want to do it more or whatever. We're gonna try it out, you know? Let's talk about this book. I feel kind of strange at the thought of, like, describing it, but I'm sure there are some people who don't know this book, so I'm gonna do that very quickly anyways. So it is like an adult contemporary romance is how it's usually described, but like I said, it is kind of more like a contemporary book with a romantic subplot from what I've heard. I can't really tell you my opinion yet because, like, nothing has really started just yet. And the main premise in here is that we have the heroine, January, who actually lost her father, and at the same time she found out that he was actually cheating on her mother and left her a house where he used to stay with the, like, other woman. She basically moves there, and her neighbor there is Gus / Augustus Everett, is that his name? It's not on the back. Anyways. Okay, shit. My camera's gonna die. But they basically make this deal that they're both writers and they're both stuck, and Gus writes literary fiction, January writes romance, and she's really struggling to believe in love because she always believed in the love that her parents had, which was obviously that was broken, and so they decide they're gonna switch genres and attempt to write a book in the other genre. I absolutely love that premise. I love books about writers. Like I said, I have writer's block and yeah, so I'm not fully loving it yet because I do think the beginning is quite slow, but at the same time, I think it's really going to take off soon, and I think I'm going to be very invested because there have been hints and, like, moments when, you know, like, I felt some overwhelming emotions, but, like, we'll see how it continues. I'm very curious to see. Last thing I'll say is I decided that I will always do 2 rolls at a time so that I have 2 books going at the same time, because again, I'm a mood reader. I like reading multiple books at the same time, and that is how I'm gonna have the most fun. To be honest, I'm tempted to do it even more often because I'm always just like, I get so excited, but I want to try not to do that. So I rolled it and I got to multi-perspective, and I'm going to reread This Is How You Lose the Time War. I was going to read a different book, but that one, I still think I might want to read it for this video, but it just would be too long, and Beach Read is not a quick read. Like, I don't think I'm going to end up flying through that, and this is a very short book, and I don't know if I'm going to fly it through this either, because I really want to savor it. I definitely also want to annotate it, and I want to write in it, I think, a lot more than just Beach Read, because I'm kind of like just highlighting for now. We'll see if I start writing in it, but I adore this book. I've been dying to reread it for ages. I want to annotate it, so it's happening, and I think that I will go pick this up now and start it, and yeah.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you.
Hi everyone, so it's a day later and it is time for a lot of updates. I finished a book, so I did finish this is how you lose the Time War. And I did tell you that I was planning on having like 2 books going, and therefore I could like do another roll after finishing this. But last night, before even finishing this book, I was just like, you know what, I want to do another dice roll. And then I was just like, you know what, I still want more. Like, I want to have options. I'm a mood reader, and it excited me to think of having multiple books to look forward to, and it allows me to be a mood reader while still following the prompts, you know? I will first tell you about my thoughts and feelings about this book, and then we're gonna go through what spots I ended up on this board and what books I'm gonna be picking. This fucking book, like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to say. I wrote a tiny review on Goodreads that I felt like was decent, but this book is a fucking masterpiece, and I already knew that, you know? I knew that this became, like, one of my favorites. I knew that I loved it, but I was still just like, even though I read it before, I was not prepared for how many feelings this book would give me, and just how much of an intense reading experience it would be. And so I annotated it, as in like, I underlined a lot of lines and I wrote into the book. I don't know if you saw that from the flip through at all, but I did not tab it like I told you, and to be honest, I'm here for it. I love it. I do think I'm gonna tab again at some point, but to be honest, like, the colors that I use are really bright, and I can find the things that I could potentially want to find very easily, I feel like. I'm still very new to annotating, but I'm absolutely living my best life doing that. And so this book just took over my heart. Like, Blue and Red, the 2 main characters, are everything to me, and this is definitely one of the most beautiful epic love stories I've ever read in my life, and there's no book quite like this. And it is so special, it is so magical, it is absolutely incredible, and it just like takes you by storm, and it's so unexpected, but at the same time, they manage to write it in a way that it just like makes so much sense. Like, there is a natural progression, but it also just like hits you so hard. Like, I cannot, and I haven't even told you what this book is about, but to be honest, it is a very, very difficult book to describe. It is a Romeo and Juliet inspired retelling, where we have Blue and Red on 2 opposite sides of a war. And it's basically sci-fi, and it feels kind of strange. Like, it doesn't make sense entirely. The 2 main characters don't have normal physical forms and bodies, and everything is a little bit confusing, and so you just have to accept that you're not gonna fully understand the world, which is not something that I mind personally, because I don't give a shit if I don't understand everything. Like, my whole life there have been many things that I never understood, and I just like, I go along with it in books, you know? The 2 of them start sending each other letters, and they communicate throughout centuries, throughout time and space. They send these letters and they fall in love, and it is the best thing in the world, and I no words can describe how incredible this book is, and I also feel like the synopsis can never give it justice, but it's a very short book. It is absolutely incredible. It is a masterpiece. It is so beautiful. I literally underlined it so hard, and it made my heart ache. There were multiple moments when I literally had to stop reading because I was like, I can't take all of these intense emotions anymore. And it is just truly like a reading experience unlike any other. I'm so happy that I reread it. I will definitely read it again at some point. And if you still have not read this book, please do. Like, I'm not someone who reads super complex books. I'm not someone who's like, oh yeah, like this book sounds like it's such a weird, strange format, or, you know, it's gonna be really hard to understand. Like, I don't read any type of shit like that. I don't think I'm a very intelligent reader. Like, it is not how I read in general, but like, I wouldn't consider myself as someone who understands difficult concepts in literature, but I still understood this book to some extent, and I fucking loved it so much. Like, I don't need, like, the romance, all of the fucking incredible, beautiful lines. Like, it is fucking poetry, like, seriously, and I don't need to understand the details for that to make my heart fucking explode with emotion. So, The best reading experience ever. Obviously a 5-star. It is one of my all-time favorite books of all time, and I need to buy this for everyone I know because I need more people to read it. So even though like I know it's a popular book, but whatever. So first book down. And before I get into the new books and the prompts, I just want to mention I'm not DNFing Beach Read, but I am, I think, putting it on pause until whenever, I don't know, because like I was reading it and I do think I'm going to love it, but like I told you, I'm just not there yet, and I don't have the energy. Like I don't want to start the readathon like this, and like I obviously just finished another book for the readathon and whatever, but like I'm just not ready for this book and I'm not in the right mood yet, and I don't want to ruin it just because I'm not in the right mood and don't have the energy to deal with it yet. So we're going to read it in this video, in this readathon, even if it's the last fucking thing that I read, but we're not reading it right now. So anyways, let's go over one step at a time, one prompt at a time. Let's see how we did. So the first prompt since the last prompt we talked about was the features a death. So the way that I noticed this before I did the roll, whatever, I literally noticed it and I was like, holy shit, like if I get this, it's absolutely obvious what book I'm reading for it. And I just had that feeling, you know, I'm like, I'm definitely gonna get this. And I fucking did. And so fate and the dice decided that the time has come for me to read You've Reached Sam by Dustin Tao. So this is a book that I've been avoiding for a very long time. I mentioned it in my September TBR and in many videos before it. I think I'm going to fall in love with this book. I think it's going to be yet another super intense, very emotional reading experience that's going to take over my entire fucking soul. It's going to make me weep, like, you know, the whole thing. And I am kind of, I don't want to say I'm excited. I'm not excited. But I think I need this book in my life, and I think I'm finally ready for it. Maybe we have other books we're reading, so I might procrastinate, but I do think I have to fucking read this book. I wanted to read it in this video, and this just is way too perfect. And so what happens in here, it is about Julie and Sam. And Sam passed away, and the two of them fell in love, and then Sam passed away, and Julie calls his voicemail to hear his voice one more time, and he answers. So obviously it features a death and deals with loss and grief, and that is the type of book that I want to read for this prompt. I technically literally like beach read would work for this, and I'm sure other more chill stuff would, because like I know this is gonna be very emotional, but I also know that I just need to dive in. Wish me luck. So that is the first book. So then after that we got to favorite setting. So I had no idea what to do for this. I don't think I actually have a favorite setting in a book. First thing that popped in my head was like New York or whatever, which like yes, but also I'm not sure if I actually, like, I love New York, but I'm not sure if I actually love books set in New York specifically the most. And I looked at the rules. I don't remember if it's like a setting that you love reading about or like a setting that you just like in real life. Then I thought, you know what? I have some historical romance that I really want to read. And I'm sure that some of them will be set in London. So I love London as a city in real life. I actually don't really like reading about British settings in contemporary books all that much. There's no specific reason. I don't know why that is. It's literally the country that I spend like half of my time in, you know, but I knew that I just had a historical romance set there, and I really like London settings in historical romance specifically. Like, I really enjoy it there. It's super basic, I know, extremely, but I like it. So, so yeah, the book that I went with that like actually is a book that I've been wanting to read for a million years, and I have it back home with me. It makes perfect sense for me to read this month. I love Lorraine Heath. It just all made sense, and it says London 1840, so we're going with it. I'm very excited. I did start this book ages ago, and then I never just went back to it. I wanted something that's easy, and I think this is going to give me that. And the other book that's, I think, going to give me that is for the prompt that is dice roll roulette. So I needed to read a book, something like 270 pages to 330 or some shit. And so it took me a while. I had a different book in mind and I was trying to figure it out. Some of the options were not working. But then I thought of this book, which is Dragon Pearl by Yoon-Ha Lee. This is actually a book that I started in June and I was enjoying it so much. And I read 54 pages. But then I had to leave and I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna listen to it on audio and just like read it when I leave. And so I didn't pack the book with me, but then I started really getting into a physical reading mood. And I have been in it since. I've been just loving physical reading so much. And I was so sad because I was like, I wish I could read this book physically, but I obviously couldn't. And so I didn't want to listen to it on audio, but I also didn't want to wait. And then I just ended up waiting. I got distracted with millions of other things, and so I never finished it. So I'm very excited. The second that I realized that I could read this book, I was just like, you know what, I need to do that. So it's sci-fi and it has Korean mythology in it. It is one of the Rick Riordan Presents books. And I do really want to read all of the Rick Riordan Presents books. And I have read a few, but definitely not like even a half. So we are going to be reading this. Like, the beginning was just so fun. I was already invested. Like, honestly, this is a really funny combination of books. And then like beach read as well on top of this is really funny to me. Like, even the covers all look so different. This update has been 10 years long, so I'm gonna shut up and I'll talk to you when I do some more reading. I look pretty rough, but I'm gonna make this update quick because I basically haven't like told you about a book that I started, and so I basically changed my plan a bit. I'm gonna take off my AirPods for a second because I feel like I am speaking way too loud. Basically changed my plan a bit. I'm gonna take off my AirPods for a second because I feel like I am speaking way too loud. So, you know the prompt that is to read, it was the, what's it called, dice roll roulette, and I'm supposed to read a book that is in between 270 pages, 330, whatever, and I was gonna read Dragon Pearl. I absolutely still obviously want to read it. Hopefully we will find a different prompt that works for this, but I was basically only reading physical books for this video, which, like, I love physical reading now, and it is my favorite. It is the one that I want to do the most, but at the same time, I just needed an audiobook. I have not been listening to audiobooks at all recently, and I miss it a lot, and it's really convenient. And earlier, I was just so tired, and I was like, I don't think I can physically read any of these books. And so then I was like, okay, I'm gonna read an audiobook. And I started the Sizzle Paradox by Lily Menon, and oh my god. So I actually need to read this for a video, and that's fine. I can still vlog about it here, but so it's been on my TBR for a long time. And I also, if you didn't know, Lily Menon is like another like pen name of Sandhya Menon. It's like for her adult romances. She started with YA contemporary romance, and the past 2 years she published 2 adult contemporary romance books, and I am a very big fan of her YA contemporary books. I love them so much. They're so fun, absolutely incredible. Love the characters, everything. Like, she is definitely one of my favorite authors. And however, Makeup Breakup, the first adult romance by her, I unfortunately did not love, and so I was really scared to go into this book because I wasn't sure if I would like it, and I haven't really heard anyone talk about it, but I am loving it. I literally got to 70% already, and I was just like, oh shit, I should probably talk to you about it, at least briefly. So I'm absolutely loving it. It is so fun. I didn't know that it's best friends to lovers, like one of my favorite tropes of all time. And so it's best friends to lovers, and our 2 main characters, even like they're roommates as well, and they have been for a while, and I was like, fuck yeah. We have Kian and Lyric, and the 2 of them again are best friends, and Lyric is basically very awkward, and she has social anxiety, and she struggles a lot with just relationships and everything. She feels like a mess. And then we have Kian, who is very charming, very put together, and he kind of just he doesn't really have a stable relationship. He just like has random hookups, but at the same time, he is kind of like a relationship type. It's just that no one ever felt right. Guess why? And so the two of them basically end up doing this like tutoring thing where Kian is going to help Lyric with this like sizzle paradox, which I'm gonna get to in a second, and Lyric is gonna help him basically get together with this girl who kind of looks like someone he could have a stable long-term relationship with. And so the Sizzle Paradox is basically this like research project that Lyric is supposed to be doing about like chemistry and relationships, and she just has not been able to find anyone that she clicks with. And so that is the whole vibe. And so there's like a little bit of some like light fake dating elements, and it is so good. It is so fun. I actually liked it from the start. Like, I was so nervous for no reason because it is just like hearted and fun, and just like I literally have not stopped listening to the audiobook for the past almost 2 hours. I have 48 minutes left to listen to, and I should probably like eat dinner or something, but I'm gonna finish it. And this is like also after not being able to focus on audiobooks for like 2 fucking months. And so I'm enjoying it so much, and I'm so happy. Hi everyone. So I'm in the car and I'm filming on my phone, so I hope the quality is okay. I forgot my camera, and I really want to film in the car. I've mentioned it before. I love doing updates in the car. There's some, like, I look weird, but whatever. We're gonna go with it. I have very exciting updates. So, I finished the Sizzle Paradox, and now I'm confused, but I don't think I told you about finishing it. I think I was like almost done reading it, but not that I finished it. So I did finish it, and I gave it 4 stars. I think I might have marked it as 4.5 on my spreadsheet. I think maybe it's just like a very, very strong 4-star. I liked it so much. And again, like, I'm even happier because, like, it put me in an audiobook mood, and also it just, like, means that I can happily look forward to Lily Menon's future adult romances, because this is so much better already, and I can't wait to see what she has in store for us next. And I also really hope that she writes another YA contemporary, and this morning I was actually thinking that I really want to reread a few of them. My absolute favorites are actually There's Something About Sweetie and 10 Things I Hate About Pinky, which is like a little bit like later on in her YA contemporary books. So if you haven't read those yet, even if you didn't fully love the other 2, please pick these up. Like, especially There's Something About Sweetie, that's like, I think if I had to choose, my number 1, but both of them just like 5 stars. Some of my all-time favorite YA contemporary books. So sweet, so fun, really meaningful. But anyways, I'm getting off track, and we have a lot more to talk about. So I finished that, and then like I told you, I did another roll, and I picked a book for that. But before we actually get to that, I decided to switch another book that I then started and finished. So we need to talk about that. So, I chose it for the setting prompt. So for that, I was going to read The Historical Romance by Lorraine Heath, but like I told you, I was just like really loving the audiobook listening experience, and I was like, I want to listen to more. And since, like I told you, I haven't listened to audiobooks at all recently, I wanted to make the most of that. And so instead of that, I picked Prince of Broadway by Joanna Shupe. So the whole day I was thinking, I really want to read another book by Joanna Shupe again, because like I absolutely love her historical romances, and I haven't read one in a few months. And so I was just like, you know what? We're gonna take it across the ocean and read a book set in New York. So I was telling you that I like New York crossed my mind. So I fucking adored this book. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars, but I had the best time, and I'm so happy because like I actually read the first book in this series a while ago and I enjoyed it, but it basically dealt with just like some triggering themes that kind of, I don't want to say ruined the reading experience, but it just made it difficult to read, and it just kind of ruined it in a way that like it just wasn't as fun and enjoyable. But this one was just super fun. I love our main characters. I forgot their name, but love them so much. Like, they were amazing. The chemistry, and I actually felt like the communication between them was really great. And some parts of the conflict kind of included like a secret or whatever, but in some ways they were so upfront with each other. And they basically ended up deciding that they're gonna have an affair, and at the same time the heroine wants to start a gambling house for women, and the hero owns a gambling house for only men, and she comes there, breaks the rules, you know, and like even though women can't go in, and she then asks him to like train her in like how to run a gambling house because she absolutely wants to do it. And at the same time they decide to just kind of have like an affair together, or whatever I should call it, and it is so fun. I flew through it. I literally inhaled it in one sitting, and it is just lighthearted and steamy and so entertaining. And like Joanna Shupe definitely writes some of the best smut in historical romance, and just her books are just like fuck. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but the vibe is everything, and I love it, and I need more. So I think if I can, now that I think about it, I want to read the third book in the series immediately. So it can't work for the next prompt because I'm going to get into that in a second, but hopefully the next one. So the roll ended up being the chance card, and I actually hadn't previously written down the books, but then I did that in a document. I wrote down 10 books. So the point of it is basically that you write specific titles of books, and you can do actual cards, but I don't have energy for that, so I just wrote it on my laptop and used a random number generator. And holy fucking shit, like, I actually saw this book there as I was writing it. I was like, shit, I actually think I really want this. And that is The Light from Uncommon Stars. And I forgot the author's name, and I can't look on my phone now because I'm filming on it. But I think like it's meant to be, and this vlog is gonna be like the best vlog ever because like all the shit that I'm reading is giving me life. And I like, when I finished This Is How You Lose the Time War, I literally kept having those thoughts like, I need a book like this again, like, and I need to find something that feels the same. And I actually feel like this book, from what I could see, from what I feel about it already, I haven't even started it, I don't know deep, like super specific details, but I think it's gonna give me the same feelings. And a part of me is hesitant because I'm like, what if shouldn't I get a physical copy of it? But the thing that I did with This Is How You Lose the Time War was that I listened to an audiobook, and then I got the physical copy later on, and then I reread it, and I feel like I want to do that with this one. I don't want to wait. I'm so happy. Like, I'm reading the best books. I'm feeling like I'm in such a strong reading mood. Mentally, I actually feel really fucking great, and I'm just so grateful. And I hope you're enjoying this video, but I don't want to end it anytime soon, but I do think soon, like at some point, I need to end it and just like start a part 2, because like this is the most successful readathon already that I've had in a long time. So I'm gonna shut up now. I feel like I look absolutely ridiculous. It is what it is. We're gonna just fucking leave it like this. I just did another dice roll. I'm honestly a little bit lost in how many I'm doing, but whatever. I finished a book and I wanted another prompt because why the fuck not? Which basically you're supposed to have 16 cards where you write down your own like prompts and choose a book based on that. I remembered I used to do a TBR jar for a while, which just has prompts. And so even though like this is obviously not like purposefully done for the readathon, and you're supposed to have 16 cards, whatever, like it doesn't really matter. It's still the same thing, you know? I still don't know what I'm picking. It's still a prompt. I am excited. Okay, is that one? Oh yeah, it's one. Okay. A book recommended to you. Interesting. I need to think about this, but I really like that, and it's flexible, so I need to think about it. So it is time for a lot of updates, and I think this is going to be my last update for this vlog. So I want it to be finally a bit of a shorter vlog than all of these super long ones I've been posting, and I would really love to get it up in the next day or so, and so we have to talk about quite a few things. So before I get into it, I did read one whole book that I haven't talked to you about and so we're gonna talk about that. But before I do that, I didn't want to do this. I wanted to finish all the books that I started here and talk to you about it. But we basically have 3 books going that I haven't finished, so let's get through each one and all of that. First, we need to talk about Beach Read by Emily Henry. So I said something in this video along the lines of, I'm definitely gonna finish this, even if it's the last thing that I read. And I don't know, like, I think the last time that I talked to you, I did update you about, like, the last, yeah. I got to page 136, and I'm just not in love with this book, and I don't know what to do. And so I do think I'm going to temporarily DNF it, and I hate the thought of DNFing it and then like getting back to it in a long time. So I just was like, what if I just don't, you know, what if I DNF it forever? But like, I don't like the thought of that, because this book, I had it on my TBR for so long. I really thought I would love it, and I just hate the thought of like not finishing it. And I also started like underlining it, like I said, and the thought of like starting to sort of annotate it and then like bailing on it, it just feels wrong. And I just still have not gotten to a point where I feel comfortable DNFing books. I just always have such conflicting feelings, and so whatever. I just like, I want to get this video up in the next day preferably, and I'm most certainly not gonna read it in a day, and I'm not excited for it. Like, I'm not excited for it, and I don't even think I'm in the mood for it anymore, because I have been kind of craving some like quieter books and maybe slower books, but this is just very specific in the vibe, and I think if I was like in the peak right mood for it, I could like enjoy it enough. But right now I think I'm just like absolutely not in the mood. I'm not excited for it. It's just like a slog to get through, and I keep telling myself I'm gonna pick it back up, but it just feels like a chore, and I don't want that. Like, I just want to have fun. What I'm gonna do with the next 2 books is I'll talk to you about it in my 3rd Bookoplathon video. So I basically did a 48-hour readathon, so that's gonna be up after this. And then there's gonna be like a normal part 2 to this video, like same like this, but you know, like whatever. So I'm gonna read more books there and finish the other 2 that I'm about to talk about. So I could technically, maybe something will push me to finish it and talk to you about it there, but no promises. I really need to think about whether I want to DNF this or not, or leave it for like next year or whatever. I don't know what to do, but we're not reading it in this video, so I'm sorry if anyone minds that, but I just can't do it. And then we have this book, which is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Tao, which I absolutely will be reading, but for obvious reasons, like I said, this is a very intimidating book, and I just need to take my time with it, and like, I absolutely hate the thought of rushing it just so I can get this video up soon, so we're not gonna do that, and I definitely will be reading it in the other vlog, so I mean, hopefully that's gonna be up soon-ish as well, so you're gonna hear my thoughts on this. Again, like, I hate not finishing books in videos, but it's fine. We're gonna read it soon and talk about it, so yes. And the same goes for the Light from Uncommon Stars. So I don't remember the last thing I told you about it. I did start a little bit of the audiobook, but it's literally, I got to like 10%. It is quite a long book, and again, like, it is not something that I want to rush. I feel like I need to take my time with that as well, and so I just don't want to force it. So we're gonna be reading these 2 books in the other vlog, so I'm sorry it's so messy. I know no one's gonna have it this messy for Bookoplathon. But you know, hopefully it's fun anyways. Like, I love talking about all these books and sharing it with you, so I hope you have enjoyed this as well. But I do have the like last book to talk to you about that I read and finished, so let's quickly talk about that, and then we can wrap up this vlog. So this was for the book recommended to you. I picked Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. So I wasn't sure what to pick, but then I thought this book has been recommended by multiple people. I've seen so many people on BookTube talking about it and recommending it, loving it, all of that. And I feel like a lot of people are also recommending it in their like fall books videos that I've been seeing. And so I thought it was perfect for that prompt. And so I read the whole book and I kind of didn't talk to you about it because I feel like it just happened so fast and I was super exhausted and just doing too many things. And so this book is a adult fantasy, and it is basically like it is a standalone and it's just super cozy. So it is like a high fantasy world, but it's called like high fantasy low stakes or something is the way that it's described. Oh yeah, there's like one line on Goodreads is a hot cup of fantasy slice of life with a dollop of romantic froth. So I basically ended, okay, before I get into my thoughts, let's talk about what the book is about if you haven't heard of it. So again, yeah, it's kind of like slice of life, cozy vibes, and it's about an orc who basically spent a long time just like being a warrior, assassin type of a person. And she's like, you know what, I want to start a coffee shop. I want to make coffee and I want to do that for myself and have that kind of life. And so that is kind of how it starts, and it revolves around this coffee shop, trying to run it and make it work, you know, start a business, and it's all in a fantasy setting with different fantasy creatures, and it's basically like found family and a little tiny bit of a sapphic romance. So I don't know, I feel like something must have happened and gone wrong with my brain, and I have been feeling really emotional the past few days, and I feel like I was not in the right mood for it, and I do think at some point I need to reread this book because I didn't end up loving it at, like, I don't want to say at all, like I did like it, but I just expected to completely fall in love with it, and that did not happen. I just kind of struggled to get through it in some points. Like, I mean, I read it super fast, but just there were some points that I just felt like I wasn't invested at all, and I was so fucking heartbroken because again, like I heard so many people talk about it and they loved it and said how wonderful the vibes were, the found family, the characters, and I did really like the characters and I loved the vibes. It does feel super cozy and it is an absolutely perfect book to read in fall, but I just didn't fully fall in love with it. I never fell in love with the characters and I don't know how that happened. Maybe again, like I just should not have listened to it on audio, but it did not fully work for me the way that I hoped. But it does have found family, it does have super cozy vibes, it is really chill and sweet, and yeah, I do think maybe my issue, even though like I don't want to say it was an issue because it's stupid, because I knew that it was not a romance. Like I knew that I heard other people say that the romantic subplot was just a subplot and like a tiny part of the book and that was not the focus, but I don't know if I just like needed that a little bit more there, because like the elements that were there I loved, but it just was like a tiny little taste and I was just not, I needed more. So yeah, but again, I don't want to say that as like a bad thing, because like it's just that like it was written in a way that like it was not supposed to be a romance, you know? So I didn't end up giving it a rating because I did not want to give it a low rating, because again, I just think it was my mood, and obviously I can dislike a book that people love, but I just feel like it just feels wrong. Like I mean, I didn't dislike it, again, like I did really like some parts of it, but I just did not fall in love with it and I'm heartbroken. But yeah, I do think again I'm gonna give it a try, and I definitely do want to keep my eye on Travis Baldree's future books, because I love the fact that it's just cozy and sweet and fun and chill. Like I need more fantasy like this, and if you know any other books like this, please let me know, especially if they have more romance. But yeah, this does have queer characters in it, and again, super cozy, wonderful vibes. So I do think you should definitely check out the book if it sounds good to you, because again, so many people have been loving it. I hope you enjoy it more than I did when I read it, but I also hope I'm going to enjoy it more when I reread it at some point. But yeah, so that is the last book we're going to be reading in this video. But again, I will be reading more books in the 24-hour readathon. I mean 48-hour, and then in the like third Bookoplathon vlog, that's going to be like this one. And so it has been going so wonderful, and I've had so much fun with it. So I hope it's okay that it got kind of chaotic, but I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you made it this far, leave a coffee emoji down below. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'm going to see you soon in another video. Bye!